I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. and we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, do we have any additions or deletions from the agenda? Anyone?
I have nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, then I will move on to our administrative meeting matters. I'd like to move that we approve the orders for July 24th, 2025 for $28,593.16. And our payroll for 7/22/25 for $14,578.04.
And I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to move that we approve the minutes for the meeting on July 14th, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Announcements. Okay, I don't believe we have any announcements other than, I'm good, Jim is here.
Hey, Jim.
Brian, I know that the Recreation Committee meeting is going on upstairs and they are very much wanting you there.
You mean Chris?
Chris. I can't believe I just called you. I can't believe I just called you.
Okay. Okay.
I looked right at him and called him Brian. I looked right at him and called him Brian. Sorry about that. Okay. Representative Harrison is here, but we are going to go ahead and do our public comment first. Public comments. So, does anyone have any public comments?
I don't know if this is the right time to do it, so.
Okay.
I live on Old Turnpike and there's a bus stop on Old Turnpike and Route 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the light for that is, let's say 100 feet up from Route 4.
Old Turnpike.
So at night, if someone's standing at the bus stop.
Oh, the street light.
You can't see them. Now I go in and out of my street, 3, 4, 5 times a day. And last week I was coming back from, the Pico area down. And there was a gentleman standing, I guess, waiting for the bus. It was dark, and I didn't see him until the last minute. I mean, it's
scary.
Okay.
So I don't know, who does lighting, but
where the light is just above.
it's up.
Yes.
The pole is up.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's good input.
So that would be something to look at since it is a bus stop. And the second thing, I'm going to mention this for Todd Keenan and Josie Delaprine on Medway.
Okay.
They have an Airbnb, and the house up from it is either an Airbnb or VRBO, whatever it is. But there's no street light at their street.
At Medway.
Yeah, and it's the only town street on 4 that doesn't have a light. Believe it or not.
Okay.
But it's what happens is they have people coming and go each way.
Mm-hmm.
And people miss it, and then they slam on the brake, and people knock that stop sign down. I don't know how many times there.
Yeah.
Because there's just no light there at that, at Medway.
Yeah.
I understand it's a small street, but.
Does anybody know if that's a state issue because of it being Route 4, or is that? Do we have to do the?
You mean as far as having a street light at every intersection? That's what I was just going to ask. Is that something, it just happens to be that it is that way?
I took a ride, it's the only one I could find on Route 4 that does not have a street light, and it's a street, it's a town street, it's not a private road.
Okay.
Does Esquiline Hill have one?
Excuse me?
I'm just asking my husband, I get where we live. Does Esquiline Hill have a street light?
I am not sure, but it is also a private road.
Oh, it is a private road,
Right.
yeah.
So as of now, it's the township, based on my investigation, talking to Green Mountain Power and the state on Route 4 issues. It's the town's responsibility and initiative to put in an intersection streetlight, not the state's. and the town pays for it. So there's a regular deducted fee per month for however many streetlights Mendon owns.
Okay,
Part of the, for instance, part of the Cott Lodge permitting process, we got them to remove a bunch of streetlights that were being built to the town somehow that were on Cott Lodge property.
And they just go on the poles?
Jim, would you repeat that to us?
Medway does not have a pole with a light on it, and when I looked at it, I think the logistical issue is the nearest power poles are a considerable distance from either side of that intersection, almost as far away as they are up on the turnpike. And I'm assuming that's why it's never had one over years. I think the nearest power poles are like 100 feet up on either side or something.
Okay.
And the old turnpike one is been on our radar, of course, for a long time. And the problem there is that informal right-of-way, that informal parking area and turning area and so forth has become kind of, I think the gentleman can maybe confirm, been used by the bus and by people and pedestrians, poorly used over the years. And whether it can be moved without getting in the town and the state right-of-way, if, GMP would have to put in a new pole and then get permission to put it in the right-of-way, but that intersection was part of the proposed redesign of the Route 4 study to redesign that entire intersection. However, that won't be until 29. So that's 4 years away before the state would be willing to narrow or redo that intersection, according to what we learned. And potentially the power pole could be moved as part of that at the state's expense. It's very likely earlier than that would be the town's expense.
I would want to be safe, because it is a bus stop. I mean, it's not used too much now, and the hotels aren't being used, but in the winter, we have a lot of.
Oh, no, it's
I
scary.
noticed it.
And that's where our fatality.
I was gonna say-
fatality at that
I was gonna say, wasn't that just a few years ago, there was a
Yeah.
fatality there? Yeah.
intersection.
Crossing over to
Oh,
the
crossing.
condos
You
for the
got, the
motel.
guy got hit by the rear end.
Henry, yeah.
It's
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for bringing that up. We'll look into it, talk to, seems like Fred has a lot of information on this, but maybe we can,
But Medway is also, I mean, it's dark, and you can't see that.
and it
You
has
know
a
where it is,
large
exactly,
sign,
but
right?
You
It
don't know
has,
where it is, and your GPS is saying, make a left turn now.
Sure.
People slam on their brake.
Sure.
and they have because all the signs are the bigger, street signs, yeah.
Like I said, a lot of that stop sign's probably been hit 10 times in the last 5 years. I mean, every now and then it's gone, so.
Well, thank you for bringing
Yeah,
that to our
that's good.
attention. I appreciate it. I wasn't on my radar at all. Anyone else have public comment in the room? Greg?
I'd like to read a couple of prepared comments if I could. So when I listen to select board meeting recordings and read the meeting minutes, I mostly hear criticism about what you do and how you do it. I think it's time to hear from residents who view your work differently, or view your work in reference differently. My takeaway from your meetings is you are an interested and organized group that executes your duties with the desire to serve Mendon residents and to do your work according to statutes and rules that govern them. This is in stark contrast to many comments provided regularly that prove to be unverified and unwarranted, and mostly appear to be just negative opinions. I'm confident this group can hear all comments and listen for any kernels of input that you can actually use to improve your efforts. I also hope that you're able to block out the inaccurate and negative content so that it does not interfere with your motivation to serve the town. In my opinion, the voters overwhelmingly selected the three of you, and it seems like their choices were spot on. All too often, criticism and complaints are shouted louder and more frequently than praise. You're not supposed to ignore criticism and complaints when it's well articulated and supported. We all wish people would approach us and say, I don't understand this. Could you explain it to me? I don't recall hearing that on any of your meeting recordings. Maybe not. Just like in any work environment, people need to hear feedback on how they're performing and praise for doing good work. I'm doing that now. Keep up the good work on handling our expenses, our services, and our future planning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that.
I didn't tell him to do that.
It's nice to hear.
Okay, Carol Gates, you have your hand up?
Yes, I just want to make sure that everybody in the room is aware that there's now a deficit in the town. So all of you three, when we used to work at a $60,000 surplus every year, now we're at a $21,000 deficit. I don't think that you're doing well at all for the town. And Megan, I'd especially like to thank you for acknowledging that the sheriff is only there for my husband. Have a nice evening.
Okay, thanks, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Anybody else? Okay, next on the agenda.
Also, I would just like to please make sure that you don't erase this meeting because, you're recording it. Just make sure it doesn't get erased, okay?
Okay, moving on.
So Representative Jim Harrison is here to give us a legislative review.
All
So
right,
Jim,
Jim.
take the floor.
Is this okay?
That's perfectly fine.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to join you this evening. I just, as you know, I like to periodically check in. Legislative session is done. And I just wanted to kind of offer some perspective on some of the major items that took place this session. As Megan and Sarah well know, typical session goes 18 weeks, middle of May. You can almost set your clock by it. This year went a couple weeks of overtime, and it did that for one single issue, and that was education reform. For those of you who read my last update last month, I titled it a roadmap, and that's what education reform that we passed is a roadmap. It's not a be-all, end-all. There is plenty in there for people to take issue with. But the reality is, at the end of the day, and I think the governor and both the Senate and House leader realized that doing nothing was not an option. Property taxes, especially last year, went up. I think in Barstow it went up over 20% for Mendon and Chittenden. I know Killington had a 29% increase last year. That was on top of an 18% the year before. They're in a different school district, but nonetheless, I think everybody came to the recognition that we're spending a lot and something has to change. Otherwise, we're just going to be unsustainable. This year, and I noticed on your agenda, you have tax rates to go over. Fortunately, the education part, I don't remember what Mendon's was, but didn't go up significantly, in part because we use surplus funds to buy down the rates. And that's always dangerous when we do that, because next year you're starting from a point you can't necessarily count on surplus dollars to bail you out again. So overall, the increase, average increase was in the neighborhood of 1%. I think we might have been a little bit more than that, but nonetheless.
So were those surplus funds that they used, was that surplus education funds or surplus?
It was both, but
General
the
fund.
biggest chunk of it was general fund. We have had a couple good years of state revenue.
Yes.
Income taxes have been up.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I've got it. I'm so distracted by this conversation happening out in the lobby, I need to go.
Just don't get somebody else.
Excuse me, you guys, there's 2 meetings going on, and you're disrupting both. So, if you guys don't have a conversation.
Yeah, unless they go to the workshop. You could hear them. Also.
Thanks.
So anyhow, as I was saying, that caused a delay in the session. You know, in the scheme of things, we had to take the time, we had to get it done. I'm not one for extending sessions. Vermont, as you folks well know, is a part-time citizen legislature. And it's hard to drag on the session, but this was a big issue, and it's going to continue to be a big issue. The first major decision on that roadmap is going to be next session. There is a task force. Locally, David Walk is on that task force. And it's a couple legislators, a couple former superintendents, school board members, and their job is to draw new district maps. They have guidelines that you should try to have somewhere between at least 4,000 students and no more than 8,000 students. With 80,000 students in statewide, you're looking at a maximum of 20 districts, potentially 10 or 15 districts. Really hard to know. So if the legislature adopts a new map next January or February, the process will continue. If we can't reach agreement, and you folks may have been through redistricting before, we always have a commission that does redistricting and the legislature ignores it, does its own thing. So it remains to be seen what happens. But if a new map is not adopted, then the financing changes, which don't take place for about 3 years, don't happen. So there is going to be a lot of pressure to do something, but it's not going to be easy. Just like we might like Barstow and having Chittenden and Mendon as kind of a little two-town community with their own school, that's not going to fly going forward. We could be part of a Rutland County district, or it could be some other configuration. The other thing that many residents of Mendon and Chittenden appreciate is school choice. School choice, because we don't have a high school. So school choice is going to be limited already. There were certain criteria. For example, parochial schools aren't going to meet the test. So we have currently some students going to MSJ, for example. I don't think that's going to fit going forward. Depending on what happens with the new district maps, that could change it. It's hard to envision districts with some choice towns and some not choice towns. So stay tuned. It will not be an easy conversation, but it's an important one, and hopefully we get it. But that was a big issue of the session.
Why don't they just go by counties?
Well, I had thrown out a proposal early on, centered around career technical schools, which is almost by county.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they'll come up with. Their charge was coming up with 3 options, and the legislature's supposed to pick one of them. So I don't know where that will all end up. So a lot of things to happen and be discussed. But the bottom line is we have 119 school districts. We have 52 supervisory unions. The whole state of Vermont is really no bigger than the city of Boston. Don't think Boston has 52 supervisory unions. We're different, we're spread out, we're rural, we like that. But you gotta do something that's a little bit more efficient. Because the supervisory unions, while they all serve a valuable purpose, that's 52 superintendents, it's 52 business managers, 52 curriculum directors. There's gotta be some consolidation. So a lot of conversation going to take place going forward, but I am pleased that there was enough agreement to move it to the next step. And that was easier said than done. The other thing that will happen as part of this, if this all comes to fruition, is there'll be a foundation formula. So which is what most states do. What that means is the state will set a number. You get X amount per student, adjusted for certain criteria, students in poverty, distances, high school, special needs, etc. The school district, that new configuration, will manage to those numbers. They won't be asking the voters to approve their school budget unless they want to go above that. And then they will have to get the voters in that district to approve it. So that could happen. And they're limited to up to 10%, I think. Getting back to the rest of the session, 83 bills were passed. 5 of them were vetoed. Most of the bills, routine, municipal charter changes, technical corrections, you name it. The 5 bills that were vetoed, because of the new makeup in the legislature, it's a little bit more balanced. None of them, the leaders did not attempt an override on any of them. So the governor said no. Not gonna happen. I had told the speaker early on in the session, nothing's going to pass unless there's bipartisan support. And I think we proved that out. What I take away from that is compromises need to happen, and where necessary, they were made. The education bill is a good example of that. Other things that were passed that were significant, the budget's always a significant bill, and I don't say that because I'm on the Appropriations Committee, but unlike past times, we're going to end the year, the June 30th year, and I'll find out what that number is Thursday, but it'll be in the neighborhood of, excuse me, $100 million. Normally, there's a wish list of things that, needs that we maybe identified, but didn't have the money for it in the regular budget. We did not fund those. We put that money aside, and not knowing what was happening in Washington, this was before the federal budget passed. We will be getting an update on Thursday as to what shortages we might expect, and are there opportunities or crucial opportunities that we need to help with. 100 million sounds like a lot of money, and it certainly is to probably all of us here. But in the scheme of, for example, our Medicaid budget, it's nothing.
And that's the amount of federal money that we get for education that is being threatened to be held back, 100 million?
I think that was
potentially we'll have to make
126
choices.
million. Now they've released some of it, but that was just in education is 126 million, I think, that they.
The big one is Medicaid.
But yeah.
Washington sends us $1.5 billion a year for Medicaid.
Which
On
includes
average.
Dr. Dinosaur.
Yeah,
include- yeah.
all those programs.
Yeah.
And so we know there's going to be some adjustments, but 100 million could be gone like that. And we have to be strategic in looking at those because, we could backfill certain things and then next year what we do, we don't have that surplus. So money was set aside, and I think that will hopefully help a little bit. You've probably heard about housing. We have an ongoing housing program. We did come to an agreement on a financing program for new housing development. It's got to go through some hoops and hurdles, but hopefully that will help, pay for with kind of an advance of property tax receipts with things like your sewer, your water, your roads for housing developments. So that will help. That's not the be all end all. There was several healthcare bills. Vermont has a problem with the cost of healthcare. We also have a problem with access for healthcare in some areas. So some new authority was given to the Green Mountain Care Board. There were some issues with drug pricing that's charged by hospitals. hopefully those will help, but, you know, year after year, if you look at the last 5 years, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield rates have gone up double digit. So, it's, you know, the legislature doesn't have any magical tools, but I'm certainly very concerned about that. The other area I just want to quickly mention, I know you have an agenda, so I'm going to move on, but transportation is always a big concern to local towns. I'm sure Megan and Sarah, you both remember, you know, the ongoing issues with, you know, state police being funded out of the transportation budget. This year, at the governor's recommended budget, the legislature agreed, we took over $20 million that had previously funded state police and put it back into the general fund. That was to keep the transportation fund whole. In spite of that, projections are next year for the transportation fund to be as much as $30 million short. So not sure what that means going forward. There's a lot of reasons for it. Your purchase and use tax, you know, if new car sales aren't quite what they were, any deviation, that takes away from the transportation fund. Gas tax revenues certainly have been going down, in part because cars are either more efficient or people are transitioning to hybrids or perhaps in some cases driverless. But so those issues are out there in addition to projects, major projects. Our costs on those are going up. I mean, I drive Route 7 through Pittsburgh, and that bridge has been looking at it for 2 years. And I just wonder, I don't even want to know how much that project is costing.
And why?
I don't know. I'm not a construction guy, but,
Start and retire.
yeah, it's, so there's a number of reasons. So there's going to be a lot of challenge on the transportation fund going forward.
Can I ask a quick question about that? I became aware when I first started, Sarah was giving me a little primer on our, I think it's the back roads grants, the Better Back Roads grants. And one of the challenges in the 1-year cycle is you have your allotment of grant funds, and then you have to go out to bid just at the time when everyone's busy. But then by the time you get through that cycle and get enough people to bid, then you have to complete the work before the next July 1. And I wonder if you might think at some point about having some amount of that granting be like the capital fund where it's in 2-year cycles.
Okay.
So that municipalities might be able to, you know, have a little more flexibility when you don't have available contractors or you can't get the best bid, or someone's on extended leave in a local town and they can't get all of the work done for these grants, and we don't lose the money, but we might have a second year that we could, you know, extend it for. So I don't know if there's any I know you could always ask for more money, but even if a little bit more flexibility, and if you need more information on that, I'm sure Sarah Tully can speak to it better than I can, but that was really striking to me.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. But
Yeah.
I'm certainly happy to inquire. Okay. And that's pretty much it. You know, I think next session is going to be a continuation of education conversations. The budget's going to be quite a bit more contentious because of some potential federal cutbacks. And my limited understanding is it's kind of phased in. So may not affect the current fiscal year that much. It will a little bit, but not that much. But fiscal year 27, which is the budget we work on next spring, will be impacted. So we may have to make some choices. I mean, there's just no way the state of Vermont can backfill the Medicaid cuts if they're significant. And I'm not suggesting they are. I will learn a lot more after Thursday. So, but anyways, I think that will be on the table. And there'll be, I'm sure the governor, he asked for some public safety reforms. He got some, but I think he's going to be anxious to push for more. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you for representing us.
And I will echo your husband. Thank you for serving.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
same for you.
Many people don't recognize that serving on a select board or a planning commissioner really is a volunteer position, and we need volunteers. Thank you.
Just have a question on the.
Sure.
So I know as far as budget goes for each grade, whatever, each child is given X amount of dollars, say 10,000, 15,000, whatever it is. Right? And then maybe, why don't they just give that to the kid and let the kid choose what school he wants to go to and take that check and go? And then if it's more than parents.
I understand. We, in Chittenden and Mendon, we kind of do that for high school. You have school choice for high school, so.
But I'm saying if they want to go to MSD or wherever they want to go, they take their check and they go.
And this coming year, they will still be able to do that, maybe not the parochial schools, but if they want to go to, like I have a neighbor that goes to Long Trail, and so they can, but we don't have a school voucher system statewide. I'm sure it'll be part of the conversation. I'm not optimistic that.
No, I don't think so either.
But no,
It seems to make sense.
you still gotta have a critical mass to make all the schools work. So, and we
And
have
52 supervisors, but you couldn't get them to agree on anything.
well, that's probably true. That's true. And there are some districts, especially up the Kingdom, that I think, well, not even the Kingdom, Pittsfield, it's all school choice. Right now, all grades, they don't have a school and they don't belong to
I
any
think.
supervisory unit. You probably have other,
Well, I think Granville and Hancock, one of them, maybe it's Granville, is also K-12 choice, like right in our area, yeah.
yep, anything else?
Thanks. No, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
And, we shall look forward to hearing from you at town meeting next year.
Thank you, Jim.
Enjoy the
Thank you,
time
folks.
off.
All right. Thank
And
you.
feel free to stop by anytime.
All right.
Thanks, Jim. Okay. So that will, the next line of business is going to be review and set a fiscal year 26 tax rate. We have, Sarah, am I to just make a motion for these rates, the homestead and the non-residential and the municipal rate? Is that how we move forward?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Okay,
Unless anyone has any questions.
yes, Helen.
Any change, I'm just comparing what our draft was from the last meeting to this meeting, and all I just see is little kind of tweaks around the corners. Anything you want to call our attention to, or is this
No,
just kind of finalizing, reconciling the numbers?
Yep, it was reconciling the numbers with Jesse finalizing the fiscal year 24 budget
Okay.
year end, or the fiscal year 25, sorry about that. And then the select board made a decision to implement the Text My Gov and pay for 2 years of the contract up front. So that is incorporated as well. And then the local agreement tax had a very minor change because there was one additional property that was included and qualified. We received that information from the state. And there was a small change in the grand list. So the grand list was updated, which all affects the numbers just very minorly, but those were all it folded into the calculations for this evening.
Okay.
So, do I make a motion for each one of these tax
Yep.
rates individually?
No, you can make a motion to set the municipal tax rate, and then the the overall homestead rate and the non-residential rate. So you're looking at the 0.5165 and then the overall homestead rate of 2.0687 and the non-residential at 2.1127.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that we set the tax rates for 2025 and 2026 as follow. The municipal tax rate at 0.5165, the homestead tax rate at 2.0687, and the non-residential tax rate at 2.1127.
I will second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay, so the tax bills will be going out in the next few days. We have the Cott annual contract, which we are writing, we have, are submitting a letter with. Sarah, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so at the last meeting, you authorized Megan to approve the wording of a letter being submitted to Cott, which is our recording software company that submitted a 35% increase over a 3-year contract with an additional 5% per year, which we thought was excessive. Jesse had also submitted a letter stating that of the hardship and that we disagreed with the amount of the increase. And we have received updated information from them that now they stand at a 25% 3-year contract increase without the 5% in addition for the additional 2 years. But 25% is still significant. As we translate numbers, so last year we spent $1,920 on the contract. The 25% increase would increase that up to $2,400 or $7,200 over the course of the 3 years of the contract. And that compares to 3 years at $1,920 is $5,760. So I have drafted a letter that Megan is going to sign tonight as long as you approve. And it essentially talks about that we are happy with your service. We implemented this service in 2020. We've taken advantage of it now for 5 years. And when making that decision, we invested a considerable amount of money out of ARPA funds to digitize our records and implement this service, which, you know, all of the deeds can be accessed online now. And that we decided to work with Cott because of their competitive rates and that this is a significant increase in 1 year. So we've asked them to reconsider the amount of the increase. So let me talk about timeline. This contract goes into effect November 1st. If you do not inform them of what you want to have happened, you'll be rolled into a 1-year contract at a 20% increase for 1 year. But that, you know, the 25% increase holds your rate for 3 years. That's the 3-year contract. So no response. So we're not going to do no response. So we have a September 1st deadline to make a decision about COTS. We'll see if they come back to us with any other adjusted rates. The renewal, though, at that 25% increase would be $2,400.
So I do not see that letter here tonight for me to sign. Oh, was it in here?
at the
Okay.
very end.
Oh, it's at the very end, okay.
Yeah.
Thank, no, we have it, Sarah, thanks.
Okay.
I didn't see that. All righty. I have, just so you guys know, I reviewed the letter. It looks like all our cameras went off.
Yeah, I'm just figuring that out.
But that's all right, we're gonna keep moving.
Yeah.
The appropriation request procedure for FY '27.
Yeah, so
Do you need a
appropriation.
motion do you need a motion to sign the Cott annual contract, or did we?
No, we're not signing the contract. We're just submitting a letter asking them for better pricing.
Yeah, so you don't need anything on that, any action item, Megan?
No, we did,
You're good.
we did that last week, yeah. So, Sarah, the appropriation request procedure for FY '27.
Yeah, so every year the select board has the option and the ability to ask or to require different things happen if somebody was asking for appropriations in the fiscal year budget. Last year, you implemented that all organizations needed to submit a petition signed by 5% of the voters.
Yes. And I would like to have that again this year to get 5% of the voters' support for any appropriation that we do out of our town budget. So I would like to make a motion that we once again implement that procedure for '27.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next on the agenda, we got our Text My Gov launch. I don't know if any of you guys got it on your phone today.
I
Mhm.
already signed, had you not signed up? 'Cause
I don't
signed
know,
up. So I didn't get it, but I don't know if it's because I had already signed up.
I just got it
Or if I
before the
missed it.
meeting today.
Yeah, so I got
Okay.
it. Well, that's good because you weren't on the original list. So
Right.
At least now you are.
Yeah.
Did anybody else in the room get it?
Oh, good.
You Text
Amen.
My
Yeah.
Gov?
I'm sorry, I saw it on the website.
Oh, no, but you didn't get it on, well, you don't have a cell phone, do you?
We don't have a smartphone.
No, but you can get a text.
Yeah, you
right?
can
We
text.
did.
It's just through
Okay.
text.
We turn it on Wednesdays.
So it's our system for letting you know if anything's going on. So you might want to turn it
It's
on.
prominently in the upper left corner of the front page of the website.
Good. Well, and it'll also be in your tax bill. So we're really hoping to be able to use this to communicate to our residents. Route 4 speed study, that is Mr. Bagley.
Sorry to bother you again about Route 4, but as you know, you all submitted an application to reduce the speed
Mhm.
in the village district, the village center, that would require a speed study. That speed study has not yet been done here in the last week of July. I haven't seen the load cables out anywhere. I've been trying for several weeks to work through RRPC, our transportation consultant there, to contact the V-Trans people in Montpelier who received the application, and they verified that they did receive the application as to when they're going to do the speed study, and are they on schedule to make a decision this year. And I have not directly contacted the Montpelier individual. I didn't think I should do that because I'm not official enough. I went through RRPC, et cetera, and we haven't gotten a response as of today as to when the speed study will be done to reduce the speed limit. The other thing, though, that the select board and the town board on the spring was to purchase 2 radar speed feedback signs, and that also requires a speed study. And so early on, like in May, when you submitted the application, they said informally through RRPC, when we do the speed study, we'll use it to determine both things. Can you put up radar signs, and can we lower the speed limit as per your request? So doing this speed study with the cables, it seems pretty important. And so I don't feel comfortable calling Montpelier and say, hey, what's up? I thought one way is if the speed study supports radar speed feedback signs, the town has to submit an 1111 permit, which is this permit right here, requesting to do work in the state right of way. And so whether the speed limit sign study is done tomorrow or done in October or whatever, if the town wants to eventually put those signs up, we have to submit one of these. And so I'm just wondering, you guys know politically better than I, whether we should go ahead and submit an 1111 permit application and kind of tweak them and say, hey, we now have 2
purposes we're trying to accomplish, both dependent on the same speed study. Can you please,
Do you know who that guy is in Montpelier? Who is it?
his first name is Ian, I-A-N,
Mm-hmm.
and his last name is capital D-E, it's D, capital D-E, capital G-U-T-I-S. I assume he could be found out.
Yeah, well, why don't I just call him?
But I didn't feel comfortable
All right.
going around.
So I'm gonna call him and get the update on the speed study and let him know that there's 2 reasons, I'm just repeating back what you said, there's 2 reasons that we're interested in this speed study. And so, and then if we should go ahead and send that permit in beforehand or wait until the speed study is happening.
And the folks down, I apologize, I'm blanking on the boss's name down at the bottom of the hill of the V-Trans building there.
Yeah.
He said they don't have anything to do with it. It's totally a Montpelier-based thing, so he couldn't help me except printing out the application.
Okay.
And if it's okay with you, I'll just leave this with Jesse's desk or with you.
Why don't we leave
So
it
it's
in
here.
this file, put it in our order, this, and Jesse will know that.
Yeah,
she
just so
needs
it's
to-
here. If he
Okay.
says, yeah, send it in, or if he says it's a waste of your time.
Okay, I will give him a call tomorrow or Wednesday,
Yeah, correct.
okay?
And Chris could, if he does say so, then I'm sure Chris fills out the 1111s, yeah.
Sarah Beth?
Just so the select board knows, we are familiar with the T1111 permit. The last time we took one out was when we took down the town shop.
Took down the bus?
The building of Audie's,
Oh, got it.
over there.
The
'cause
gun shop.
We were in the state's right of way.
Okay. Okay, so if there is no more business to discuss, I'm going to move that we adjourn the meeting at 6:17 PM.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.